Welcome, my friends. Today I want to take you on a journey, not to a distant land, but inward, to a place where true strength is forged, the home. In a world that moves fast and often pulls us in 100 directions, family life can feel chaotic, overwhelming, even painful at times. But what if I told you that happiness, peace, and strength are not out there waiting to be found? They're built, brick by how we think, how we act, and how we love. The Stoics, those ancient masters of self-discipline and virtue, taught us that happiness is not the result of external circumstances, it is the reward of internal order. And if we apply their timeless wisdom to our homes, our relationships, our parenting, and even our conflicts, we can build something unshakable. A fortress of happiness. So today, let us learn the keys, the Stoic Keys, that open the doors to patience, to clarity, to purpose in family life. Because when we master ourselves, we lead with peace. And when peace lives in us, it begins to live in our homes. And that, my friends, is how we build a fortress that stands forever. 1. Control what you can, accept what you can't. In the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a simple but powerful truth. There are things within our control, and there are things outside of it. When it comes to family life, this principle becomes a cornerstone of inner peace. You cannot control how your spouse feels every day. You cannot control your child's every choice. You cannot control your relatives' opinions, their attitudes, or their emotional states. But you can control your own behavior. You can control your response. The Stoics teach us that suffering often begins when we try to control what we were never meant to. Instead of wrestling with what others say or do, focus on what you bring to the moment. Your words, your tone, your patience, your consistency. When you shift your energy away from external outcomes and into personal responsibility, you become a pillar in your home. Chaos often enters a household through unchecked expectations. Peace enters through acceptance. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. Let go of the illusion of control and take full ownership of your character. That is where your power lives. That is the ground on which you build your fortress. 2. Lead with virtue, not emotion. In the intensity of family life, emotions rise quickly. Frustration, anger, disappointment, even fear. But the Stoics teach us not to be led by our emotions, but by our virtues. Wisdom, courage, justice, temperance is the compass that keeps us steady when storms come. Emotion may be loud, but virtue is strong. When a child disrespects you, emotion wants to strike back. Virtue says, teach, don't punish in anger. When a partner misunderstands you, emotion wants to defend. Virtue says, listen first, then speak with clarity. To lead with virtue means to rise above the impulse of the moment and act according to higher values. A Stoic parent, partner, or sibling does not ask, how do I feel? But instead, what is the right thing to do? And often, the right thing is not easy, but it is powerful. It brings order, it brings trust, it brings growth. When virtue becomes your foundation, your family will feel it. Your children will imitate it. Your relationships will mature, not because you controlled anyone else, but because you governed yourself. Emotional reactions are temporary. Virtue is eternal. Lead with it and you lead with strength. 3. Practice daily gratitude for your loved ones. Gratitude is a quiet power. In Stoicism, it is not just a feeling, it is a discipline, a conscious practice of recognizing what is good even in imperfection. In family life, it's easy to focus on what's missing, the chores left undone, the words unspoken, the flaws that repeat. But the Stoics urge us to look instead at what we have right now and honor it. Each day remind yourself your spouse is still here, trying in their own way. Your children are growing, learning, even in their struggles. Your family, with all its imperfections, is still your greatest training ground for virtue. What if you chose to see the small things with wonder? A shared laugh, a warm meal, a kind word. These moments are not owed to you, they are gifts. Gratitude shifts your mindset from lack to abundance. It replaces frustration with perspective. And when you express it out loud, it creates an atmosphere of love. The Stoics believed that recognizing the value of what we have is the first step to true joy. In your home, let that recognition become a ritual, a daily pause to say, I am thankful for this person today. That's how you nurture happiness, one moment at a time. 4. Respond, don't react. Reactions are impulsive. They are emotional, immediate, and often regrettable. In the Stoic way of life, we are called to respond with thought, intention, and self-control. Family life constantly tests our patience. A child throws a tantrum, a spouse speaks with frustration, a sibling crosses a line. In these moments, the reactive part of us wants to strike back, raise our voice, prove a point. But that is not strength. That is surrendering your power to the moment. To respond is to pause, to breathe, to ask, what does this situation truly require of me? Not, how do I feel in this moment, but who do I want to be in this moment? A response comes from the higher self, the part trained in wisdom, humility, and restraint. And when you respond, rather than react, you shift the entire emotional tone of your home. You model maturity, you create safety, you preserve dignity, yours and theirs. The Stoics remind us that anger, once released, is hard to contain. But silence, reflection, and measured words, they build trust, they calm storms. Responding is not weakness, it's mastery. In your home, be the one who brings reason where emotion wants to reign. That's true leadership. 5. Set the example, be the standard. In Stoic philosophy, the greatest form of influence is embodiment. You don't teach virtue by preaching it. You teach it by living it. In your family, you are always being watched. Your children, your spouse, your siblings, they see how you handle pressure, how you speak under stress, how you treat others when no one's applauding. Your example becomes the standard, whether you intend it or not. If you want respect, show respect. If you want peace, practice patience. If you want honesty, speak truth even when it's hard. The Stoics believe that character is not formed in public, but in private, in the daily, unseen choices. Family life is your training ground. Every day is a chance to sharpen your integrity, your discipline, your compassion, not by demanding change in others, but by demonstrating it yourself. When you set the standard, you raise the bar for everyone around you, not through force, but through presence. You become a quiet lighthouse in the storms of daily life. And over time, your family won't just hear your values, they'll feel them, reflect them, and live by them. Don't wait for the atmosphere to change. Be the atmosphere. Be the example that sets the tone. 6. Create peace within to create peace at home. Peace is not something you find in your living room. It's something you bring into it. The Stoics taught that a calm mind is the root of a calm life. And in family, where emotions collide and schedules overwhelm, your inner state becomes contagious. If your mind is cluttered, anxious, or reactive, it will spill into your words, your tone, your decisions. But if you cultivate inner peace, you radiate stability even in chaos. You cannot expect harmony in your home if there is war in your heart. That's why Stoics prioritize stillness, self-reflection, and clarity. Before solving every argument or correcting every behavior, they asked, "Am I centered? Am I anchored?" Because when you are grounded, you can navigate even the toughest family moments with wisdom, not impulse. Take time to check in with yourself. Journal, breathe, reflect. Know where your emotions are coming from before placing them on others. This isn't selfish, it's strategic. A peaceful home begins with one peaceful person. When you master your internal world, your external world shifts. You become the steady hand, the calm presence, the emotional anchor, and in doing so, you teach your family the most powerful lesson. Peace is built, not found. 7. Detach from ego, embrace humility. Ego is the invisible enemy of harmony. In family life, it whispers, "You must be right. They owe you. Don't back down." But the Stoics teach us that ego blinds us to truth, blocks our growth, and poisons our relationships. When we operate from ego, we turn small disagreements into battles. We take correction as insult. We see love as something to be earned, rather than something to be given. Humility, on the other hand, is not weakness. It's wisdom. It says, "I don't know everything." It listens more than it speaks. It apologizes quickly and forgives freely. Humility doesn't need to win. It seeks to understand. And when you bring that into your family, you create a safe space for others to be real, to be imperfect, to be human. Detaching from ego means stepping back from the need to always prove a point. It means asking yourself, is this about being right or about keeping the bond strong? The Stoics valued truth over pride and connection over dominance. In your home, let humility lead. It softens hearts, it opens doors, and it reminds everyone that love is not about position, it's about presence, patience, and grace. 8. See conflict as a teacher, not a threat. Conflict is inevitable in family life, but to the Stoic, it is not something to fear or avoid. It is a mirror, a teacher, a chance to grow in patience, self-awareness, and resilience. Most people see conflict as a problem. The Stoic sees it as practice. Every disagreement, every tension is an opportunity to ask, what virtue does this moment demand from me? Maybe it's self-restraint, maybe it's courage, maybe it's empathy. When you shift your mindset from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this, the entire dynamic changes. You no longer feel powerless or offended. You feel empowered to rise above. Conflict doesn't always need to be resolved right away, but it must be understood. Often, what fuels it isn't the issue on the surface, it's the emotions underneath, the unspoken fears, the old wounds. The Stoics remind us, external events don't disturb us, our judgments about them do. In your family, don't run from hard conversation. Embrace them as opportunities to build deeper understanding and stronger bonds. Let conflict refine your character, not destroy your peace. Seen rightly, it doesn't break the fortress, it strengthens its walls. 9. Speak less, listen more. In a world full of noise, silence is a powerful tool. The Stoics valued the art of listening deeply over the urge to speak constantly. In family life, This principle is crucial. Too often we speak to be heard, to express our opinions, to correct or to control. But the Stoics remind us that true wisdom often lies in the quiet moments, in the ability to listen, not just to the words spoken, but to the feelings, the intentions, and the needs behind them. When you speak less, you give space for others to express themselves fully. You hear what's truly being said, not just what you want to hear. You open the door for connection and understanding. Listening doesn't mean agreeing with everything, but it does mean honoring the other person's perspective. It means offering the gift of presence. The Stoic practice of silence teaches that our words should be chosen with care, and our conversations should serve understanding, not ego. In family life, speaking less allows us to respond more thoughtfully, to build stronger relationships, and to create an environment where everyone feels heard. A quiet, attentive presence speaks louder than 1,000 words. 10. Make time for stillness together. In the rush of daily life, family time can often feel scattered and hurried, but the Stoics understood the importance of stillness, the space for reflection, for connection, for true presence. Making time for stillness together as a family doesn't mean waiting for a perfect moment. It means creating moments to simply be, without distractions, without expectation. Whether it's a quiet dinner, a walk in nature, or a few moments of shared silence, these moments offer something deeper than activity or conversation. They offer connection. Stillness together allows each family member to recharge, to reflect, and to share what's important, not just in words, but in shared experience. It builds bonds not through what you do, but through how you simply exist together in peace. The Stoics practice mindfulness in everyday life, slowly, intentionally, with purpose. And in the same way, when we make room for stillness in our homes, we allow our family to simply be, to be human, to be present, and to be at peace with one another. Creating time for stillness isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It is a chance to fortify your relationships and nurture the serenity that makes your family a fortress of happiness.